I'll be upfront and say that I proper love Emma Frosty's. She is my dream woman, and she's the only woman in all the world that I would leave my official girlfriend, Canaries, from the Justice Leagues for. Emma Frosty's is perfect, I adore her, and I would honestly chop off parts of my body if it meant that I got a gun out with Emma Frosty's. So we've got this comic here with a cover, and there's like a dozen Emma Frosties on it, and each and every one of them is perfect, and I love them all with all my soul. So it would be incredibly hard for me to not enjoy a comic with this as its cover. But astonishingly, I hate this. That's a pun, by the way. It's called Astonishingly Excellent Men. This is from Joshua Whedon's critically overrated run that never came out on time. And this is easily the worst story of his run. A lot of rubbish going on about cyclist losing his powers, and he's just shot his perfect girlfriend Emma Frosty's in the stomach with a gun. This story, it's shot all over Emma Frosty's and her relationship with cyclist. And like most of the run, it is just Buffy Pride fan fiction. The baddie, it's Emma Frosty's at the end, but at the minute, it's Mrs. X here. That is Dr. X's evil twin sister, who he killed in utero. Great Van Morrison character, written terribly and ruined by Joshua Whedon. Cyclist, he is unhinged and he's shooting stuff, and the Smurf has gone feral, and this girl here, this is one of Joshua Whedon's original characters, Blind Spot, and like most of his characters, she is a pretty bog standard, very basic and unimpressive character, but she has had a long, healthy life in comics, purely on the basis that she was created by Joshua Whedon. I have never liked Joshua Whedon, always found his writing cringe-inducing and annoying, and he is a man I have zero respect for. I might actually hate him. He is another example of one of his exciting new Excellent Men characters, and would you guess she's a young Japanese girl? A young Japanese girl who is fighting two of the villains that the Excellent Men struggled against at the start of this run. Then Wolfman jumps in. Weird thing about this story is that, well, it's impossible to understand if you have not read Van Morrison's run. But it's also impossible to enjoy if you have read Van Morrison's run. The idea behind Mrs. X, which is coming up, I think is pure terrible. And this one, it's just a jumbled mess of pointless fighting with villains who aren't even part of this story arc. And all the characters, they're doing the sarcastic little Joshua Whedon quips, and it's terrible. And we're over halfway in, and you'll notice, despite the cover, Emma Frosty's is only just now actually appearing. And she's only really here to be saved by an angel from the heavens, by which Joshua Whedon, of course, means Buffy Pride, who he is fucking infatuated with. Turns out that this whole arc, which in an earlier issue had Emma Frosty's psychologically bully cyclist and betray the rest of the team, turns out that all the villains, they aren't really there, and they're there because Emma Frosty's is suffering from survivor guilt. She's upset over not dying alongside all the other muties who were genocided by Mrs. X at the start of Van Morrison's run. It's incredibly offensive. It is terrible. It takes this strong female character who stood on her own and then just saddles her with survivor's guilt. I mean, okay, that is fine. But then it uses the survivor's guilt as an excuse to just have her betray her team and be evil for a story. This is just terrible, and it's completely undoing all the work put into the character to have her suddenly just harbour this seriously crippling guilt that has never manifested until this one story where she does a heel-faced turn. And I find it's all very vile. It's horrible. The good news is Joshua Whedon's Excellent Men comics, they came out so delayed that by this point they weren't even following his lead. He was meant to be like the new direction for the Excellent Men franchise after Van Morrison left. This was meant to be like the lead book, and he was so slow about it that by this point the Excellent Men editors had just decided that he wasn't worth banking on, so they let all the other books pick up the slack and do their own thing. And it's a godsend, because this story arc would have destroyed Emma Frosty's character. It would have destroyed her relationship with Cyclist. It would have properly ruined this character, and I really find him just latching on to Survivor Syndrome, just like stapling it to Emma Frosty's, to be grossly inappropriate and tactless. It's a bad comic, and I should destroy it, but this cover... actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just fucking do this. This is not a good comic. It's not a good story. He's not a good writer. Oh, this is terrible. I do love Emma Frosty's though, so I rate this 7 thumbs up.